Hello and welcome to the Caravan channel, the show that helps you to get the most from your caravan. I'm Alistair Clements and you join me here in beautiful East Sussex for the second of our summer specials. After the austerity measures of the last episode, this time we're heading to the other end of the caravanning spectrum to look at luxury touring. Here's what we've got in store. I'll be giving you a guided tour of Swift's flagship Elegance 630. Then we'll look back at 3 past reviews to find out what a few of its top spec rivals have to offer. John Wickersham investigates the latest in cutting-edge tourer technology. David Motton reviews a tow car that's dripping with luxury to make a perfect match for a heavyweight tourer, the mighty Range Rover SD V8. Luxurious doesn't have to mean ostentatious. Take this Swift Elegance 630. It doesn't exactly hide its light under a bushel. Everyone's going to know you're pitching up in something pretty special. But it's also understated in a manner that befits a tourer badged elegance. The Swift Group's decision to offer 2 distinct flavours on the same basic layout in the Sterling Continental and its twin, the Swift Elegance, is a clever one. It means you can cater for both traditional and contemporary tastes with the same basic van. And this fixed French bed 630, along with the Island bed 645, represents the very pinnacle of the Swift Group's ranges, weighing in at a whopping 1,900 kilos fully laden and a little shy of £29,000. What do you get for all of that cash? Rather a lot actually. There's a full complement of Alco goodies, heavy-duty steadies, plus external mains, gas and shower points, as well as mains and pump water inlets. You also get a fantastic looking van. From its sleek nose to its rounded rump, this is a really good looking piece of design. And you get the reassurance of that timberless Smart HT construction, not to mention the fact that all the services are over on the offside, so they won't muddle your awning. Inside, things get a little bit more showy, yet this is still a shrinking violet compared with its Sterling Continental twin. You get a much more traditional feel with lots of woodwork, yet it still feels pretty sharp and modern thanks to that pale finish and the high gloss varnish. I also like this very simple 2-tone cloth. This lounge is bathed with light and feels really spacious. You could probably get 6 people around the table in here at a push. It's also designed to be comfortable to relax in with these corner cushions. And there's a decent sized coffee table. My only quibble is that to put the freestanding table up, you've got to go all the way to the back of the van because it's mounted in the end washroom. One thing I do really like, however, is this little multimedia power station at the front. There are 2 230-volt sockets, a 12-volt and a USB. At night, that offside bunk is long enough to use as a single. Alternatively, you pull out the slats underneath the front chest and it makes a massive 6'6" double bed. Standing here in the middle, you really get a sense of the scale of this enormous tourer. There's absolutely no excuse for bumping into each other, even if all 4 berths are occupied. It's a fantastic kitchen area as well. Finished all in white, it's got every conceivable luxury, from the omnivent above to the obligatory dual fuel hob and a microwave. But I really like the thoughtful detailing here. There are fruit and veg drawers, and here a little concealed cutlery drawer. Perfect. Moving further aft, you'll find a huge fridge and a separate freezer as well. Now, if you're the sort of person who likes to use every gram of available payload, in this case 221 kilos, then this huge underbed storage area is for you. Just like the front bed boxes, it can be accessed from inside and outside the van. And if you close the lid, you get a good size 6'3" double. It's mounted usefully low as well, so you don't feel the need to take a running jump to get onto this Duvelet mattress. Each occupant gets their own reading light and their own little shelf, and there's a large padded headboard, while opposite you'll find sighting point for yet another TV. And that just leaves the washroom, which is pretty much as good as you'd hope. The shower could have been wider, but it's deep enough and there are plenty of storage options. There's more evidence of thoughtful design too, such as the provision of a hanging rail in the shower, as well as the main heated towel rail, or the backlit mirror and the extra speakers in case you enjoy singing while you wash. If you're going to spend the best part of 30 grand on a caravan, I think you're going to want to feel like you're getting your money's worth. And while this Swift Elegance may not shout its price tag from the rooftops, I'm certain that if you were to live with it, you'd feel that price coming through in every pore, in its quality build, its considered design, and its healthy kit list.
Hello! This mighty beast is the Buccaneer Cruiser, and it's simply massive inside. This is a true luxury van, and it costs a little over 30,000 quid, so you'd expect to get plenty inside. And you really do. There's underfloor heating in here, there's self-levelling steadies, and there is this fantastic, enormous fixed island bed. Although it's mounted transversely and it's over 6 feet long, there's still space to move around. There's a very good reason for that. The 2015 Buccaneer is 6 inches wider than the old one. And let me tell you, 6 inches goes an awfully long way. In this kitchen area, there's space to spin around, there's space for people to move past, and they won't bump into you. There's a good sized kitchen with a separate oven and grill. There's bags of storage too. And up front, there's a really good sized lounge. Generally, when you've got a transverse island bed, you don't have much space in the lounge area. It always feels a little bit tight. But here, no such problem. As you might expect at that price, the washroom is something really special. There's a domestic style bowl sink, a good sized Dometic loo, a proper towel rail, and a really great shower with a slate effect lined finish. With a van like this, you're going to need a pretty serious tow car because it weighs knocking on 2 tons. That said, if you're after the ultimate in luxury, accept no compromise.
We're an incredibly loyal bunch in the UK. In a recent survey by Practical Caravan magazine, 98% of respondents said that they bought British. Why is that? Well, it's pretty simple, and a large part of the reason is this, the door. On this German Heimer Nova GL590, it's on the offside, what we would consider to be the wrong side. There's a couple of other small problems. This PowerPoint is very high up and it's on the awning side. Otherwise though, it's a really, really lovely van. It looks pretty good. I love the solidity of it. The build quality is fantastic. The grab handles feel super secure, and there are some really great details, such as this fold-out step. I just love the subtle finish in here, and it's full of really interesting touches, such as this floating wall opposite the kitchen. And behind it, there's the perfect place to put your coat. The 2015 590 has a transverse island bed and an end washroom across the back of the van. It's just the kind of layout that everyone's buying at the moment from the British manufacturers. But of course, the feel is really quite different. The front lounge is fantastic. It's so roomy. You could seat 6 around here quite comfortably. Now moving over to the kitchen, the first thing that strikes you is these brilliant drawers. They're really large and they've got little positive catches to stop them sliding open when you're on the road. The other thing though is a bit of a negative. There's very little food prep space here. Unless you've got the lid down on the separate oven and grill and hob, you really won't have anywhere to cut up your veg. That said, you can't argue with the quality of the fixtures and fittings in here. I particularly like this stainless steel sink. Now hidden beside the cupboard is a very neat fabric curtain, which gives you a bit of privacy for this bedroom, which is the master suite really. And it's a fantastic size. As you can see, I'm slightly struggling to get past the bed because it's so big. But like most UK manufacturers of transverse island beds, this one uses a sliding mechanism. At the moment it's in day mode, so you can get past it. All you need to do is reach under and there's another latch, pull it down, and you get night mode, which is a really good size, as you can see. Plus, like all transverse island bed vans, there's another big bonus underneath. And that's storage. There's a huge space here. And there's even a really deep door to access it, and that just leaves us the bathroom. It is a bit narrow in here, but that's pretty much where my criticisms end. These hooks are really sturdy. They're not the usual flimsy break off in your hand jobs. There's 2 good sized cupboards. The loo's a bit low set, but it's got a very sensibly sited flush button in front of you instead of having to reach around behind. There's a decent sized sink and a really classy finish. I love this sort of faux tile effect. The shower behind me is fully lined. It's even got underfloor heating to keep your feet warm. I think it's fair to say I'm pretty keen on this van. So where do I sign? Well, hold on a sec. There are a couple of things we haven't mentioned yet. Weight and price. With a shipping length of 8 metres and a width of 2.4 metres, this thing was never going to be light. But its MTPLM is knocking on 1900 kilos, which means you're going to need a big old 4x4 to haul it along. It costs more than £29,000 in the UK, even in standard form. But for that, you do get pretty much everything you would expect, from the huge panoramic front window to Aldi wet central heating. It may not quite be the Rolls-Royce of caravans, but perhaps more like the Mercedes S-Class. And if your pockets are deep enough and your tow car is big enough, there are very few other tourers that get close. The top of the caravan market is a congested place, where the island bed is king. Coachman already offered an inline version, but the big seller is the transverse double, offered by the likes of the Swift Group, Luna and Eldis. Now Coachman is fighting back with this, the VIP 5754. This is a top spec van, so of course there's a big equipment list, including alloys, wheel locks, an external gas barbecue point and an external 230 volt socket. There's also an outlet here for a shower. These walls are timberless and it features bonded construction, which should help keep the water out. But the big news lies behind this little grille here, because for the first time Coachman is offering Aldi wet central heating across the entire VIP range. In the kitchen there are some funky fittings, such as these stripy splashbacks and this speckly slate effect worktop. Even this draining board is supposedly a designer item. But it's not just style over substance. There's a dual fuel 4-ring hob, a separate oven and grill, and up here an omnivent. And on this side of the van there's a large area that can also be used for food preparation if that worktop's too small. There are plenty of superb features in this van, but we're going to start with one slight negative. This front double bed, when it's folded down, it really is quite narrow. That's not a massive issue though, because for most people it'll only be used for occasional guests. And as a lounge area, it seats 4 in generous comfort. Because it's not enormous, the table that pulls out of the front chest will be adequate for most situations. When you need more space, you don't have to walk into the back to pull the table out of a cupboard, it's just here. You simply have to reach into the kitchen and pull out the freestanding table. Caravan designers don't want me near their fixed berths, because I'm 6'3" and not exactly light. But in this case, there's plenty of space. All you have to do is pull out the bed frame, pop in the top of the mattress, and there's plenty of room on this firm but comfortable new 3-layer mattress. Now, new caravan launches tend to make a big play about wood finishes, and the VIP is no exception. This one is called Noche Lido, and for the record, it looks rather pleasant. Pushing it back in is a reverse of the same process. A bedroom like that deserves a really good bathroom, and the 575 doesn't disappoint. The massive shower cubicle might be familiar to owners of high-spec Luna vans. Coachman has a loyal fan base of customers who appreciate its good build quality and thoughtfully designed interiors. And couples who value comfort above all else may well find that in the 5754. In fact, I've just heard one of its major dealers step out muttering, "This is exactly what people are looking for." I'm a sucker for German engineering, and a single axle is much easier for touring. We're going to be taking a short break now, but don't go away, because when we come back, we'll be bringing you a fantastic tow car that's mighty enough to tow any one of those twin axle behemoths and full of luxury features. See you in a few minutes.